Hey there, I'm Kelsey, that's Tim, and this is the story of our adventure. Life is fleeting, and we want to squeeze every bit out of it. We are wandering the world, so home is a bit of a moving target for us. We love finding the random, the remote, and sharing it all with you. So subscribe to get lost with us and hopefully find some inspiration to go after your own dreams.
Welcome back to Goose.
Yes, we have been enjoying life aboard here in the Tuamotus, and in the last couple episodes you got a glimpse of what daily life kind of looks like here.
Yeah, so far it's been just an amazing place to be, but definitely the highlight for us has been underwater exploring.
A beautiful, graceful seal. Arr, arr, arr.
Besides just random snorkeling and seeing what's underneath the boat and maybe a bommy nearby, one thing you gotta do in the Tuamotus is swim the wall of sharks. It sounds very intimidating. It's actually a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve site, and it's where a lot of shark breeding happens. There's a ton of nutrients in the water, and when you look down, it is like the floor is moving with all different kinds of sharks.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was actually pretty intimidated to jump in because our friends that had anchored right near there, they threw out like a float or something for their dinghy, and they said like sharks came up and bit it immediately, which made me a little on edge to jump in the water with all these sharks, but I did buck up my courage and jump in.
You probably can't hear me, but we're just about to snorkel the wall of sharks. Scary. I am a little nervous.
Out there.
Yeah.
As we drifted, the current pulling us along, I was mesmerized, watching the sharks just glide along like a bird riding a draft. A silent, ghostly dance. So precise and so powerful. An eerie gracefulness that we got to enjoy from above.
that was a really cool spot.
Absolutely. But for us, it was time to leave the Tuamotus. My brother was flying in to visit us in Tahiti, and so we needed to make some tracks and head towards the Society Islands. Now, Society Islands, like Tahiti, are ones you've heard of. Moorea, Bora Bora, that sort of place. So we were excited to check out a very different looking part of French Polynesia.
And a little sad to leave the Tuamotus.
Definitely.
But we headed out the last Tuamotus Pass and did a little overnight, which was actually a pretty squally little sail.
Yeah, we were ripping along.
Yeah. Yeah. We got lucky with our timing coming in. Almost through it. Popcorn. Woo. And we did rip the halyard for the spinnaker just at the very top because I think we were trying to pull a bit of an angle there.
Yeah, so with our spinnaker, we definitely got down into the 60s, which is far beyond where it's supposed to be working, and it worked great.
Yeah.
But on that pulley up there, that block, it pulled a little sideways.
Yeah. Which is an easy fix once we could go up the mast, and we were basically pulling into the harbor when this happened. So
True.
It was wild to see mountains again. It had been a long time, and so much city. There were boats and planes and helicopters and ships, and it was a bit of a shock to the system.
It's always overwhelming once you spend a lot of time remote to come back and see a normal city. Not even that big of a city, really, of Tahiti, but to see planes overhead and so much going on and so many rules and places to go and not to go, it's a bit overwhelming. But it's also a great place to get things done because everything is at your fingertips.
Yes, we had been very remote and couldn't get a lot of these little things. So we had lots of lists, and now we had a lot of errands, which then means a lot of boat work. Welcome to Tahiti. There are people here.
So many humans. But it's a neat novelty. There's stores that you don't have to wait on a boat to resupply them.
And then wonder what you're gonna get.
Yeah, and then fight for veggies.
Okay, it's pretty exciting and a little overwhelming to see this much activity, this much land, this much greenery, so many cars, so many people.
There's airplanes, there's boats.
I haven't seen this much anything since Panama.
So we are going to Decathlon. If you don't know what that is, it's sort of like Europe's and the rest of the world's Big Five sporting goods, or one of those pick a brand of inexpensive sporting goods.
Yeah.
And then also excited to go to a store that is a normal supermarket.
Yeah.
Walk over.
It's so humid here compared to anywhere we've been for a while. It feels wild that it is. Like the boat is all soaking wet in the morning, which we haven't had for a while, unless it's a storm, but it's just naturally very humid here. It's visually raining, which we expected. So we brought rain jackets, and our bags are waterproof.
Oh no, there's a gate. Oh, please let us.
But it is all up. As you can tell, I'm out of breath.
Oh, I think we're locked out.
At least it's down.
Okay, so fast.
We made it! You probably can't tell how steep that is. Quite steep. But we did it, we're here. We're like on the top of the mountain now. It's a very big decathlon. It's awesome. Well, the prices at the real store were still shocking, sadly, but they did funnily have an American aisle, and they had a giant jar of pickled jalapenos, so that was good.
Yeah, spicy foods are oddly hard to find traveling the world, so we jumped on it. But even though it was pretty expensive, at least it had everything. So it was kind of like you gotta choose one or the other, and at least you had stores with big stock and capacity.
Yep.
So although it wasn't cheap, you could find things you needed, and we also found a lot of boat parts that we needed. but with so many different things, it was time to do a lot of projects.
Yes, and we were hoping to get all of these errands done and just be able to leave sort of the bigger city, but a huge swell had rolled in, so it wasn't exactly easy to get in and out of the passes here.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with these passes. You're well protected behind them, but as you can see in the harbor, it was pretty rough in there. We were actually a lot calmer, and it was a nicer place to be on anchor.
Even just these ones, bouncing all over. What do you think?
Be quite an interesting boardwalk to get to some of these boats.
Yeah.
Have nothing to hold on to, just a plank, and it's moving this much. Yeah, so boat work.
Good morning. Looks like a beautiful morning, but the amount of trash, plastic trash floating, big log or something over there, more trash on its way to us. This is what I think is a big wooden box banging into the hull. More trash, and then look what passed us already. That is a giant tree down there. Almost looks like part of a raft or something. It's really disgusting.
All right, so more maintenance. Already went up the mast this morning and put on a new wind sensor and reran our spinnaker halyard that broke. And now this little seal is what I'm going to try and replace. This is $69. The full rebuild kit for this raw water pump is like $60, $70, depending where you buy it online. In Tahiti, just the water seal is $69. So pretty crazy, actually. I mean, even for Yanmar prices, you add Yanmar to Tahiti and you end up with some crazy prices. And they didn't have any generic ones anyways. So our boat, like, I feel like some people are okay with their boat's bilge always having water in it. That's really common. I hear it all the time. I think my obsessive compulsiveness, and same with Kelsey's, helps us to we want a dry boat. If there's any water in the bilge, I want to know why. We know that the exit hole for the bilge pump on the port side has a one-way valve, but if waves are really slapping, like we're on the beam, that side's low in the water and waves are hitting it, we'll see a little water in there, just a tiny bit. But we know where it's coming from, so it's okay. We'll dry it out when we get somewhere, and then we're good. Dry bilges. And they'll stay dry for weeks and weeks. This side, we've noticed some water in. So we investigated it, and we found a little drip coming from the raw water pump that takes seawater in and cools the engine. And in the middle of that, there's that rubber impeller that we had one of those break before, if you remember, where that rubber impeller sits just behind it is a water seal that keeps the seawater in that loop and doesn't let the seawater, sort of get to the outside of that housing, right? So hopefully we can replace this and stop that seawater leaking in. Right now, there isn't even a drip. Normally when the engine's off like this, there's a steady little drip every 5 seconds. But when it's running, I think it's actually at the point now where it's spraying. So the cause of this, of course, is just usage, but also if you tighten the belt on this raw water pump to any normal amount, I would say if you're used to cars or anything that has a belt like that,
that tension's all way too much, I've learned. So I think that when I first adjusted this, I just went to hand tight. I wasn't like using a pry bar or anything, but I pushed it so it was taut, and because it was slipping and I didn't want to hurt the belt, I think I went too far and encouraged this to die. Now, it's probably original to the boat. Frankly, I doubt it's ever been replaced. So it's also very old, but I do think this time around when I adjust it, we'll run the engine for a while. And then the first few times we use both of these engines after I replace these, we'll check and make sure that belt's not slipping. And if it's not, we're good. I don't want to go too taut, because essentially I think that's what does it, is that little bit of side pull on it is going to pull on this as it's going and deform it. So
Yeah.
Here we go.
And we've been in trash whirlpool for 2 days. There's literal bags of trash out there, which is really nice. So although it's quite warm, we haven't really wanted to swim. And the swell's pretty big. It's calming down a little bit today, but it was massive yesterday, so we didn't want to leave yet. Didn't want to surf in Goose. Did you get it out?
Yeah, it's hard. Like it is. It feels like plastic, not rubber.
Is the other one soft?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot more so.
Yeah, it's more pliable.
A little bit of flex to it. Still pretty hard plastic. Okay.
Challenging to get out.
Let's turn on the flash.
Okay, we'll put stuff back on.
Putting stuff back on. Greasing this new lip seal. Spring faces out. Seems to be going on really nicely. So I'm just pushing. I don't have a socket or anything to seat it. I'm worried I'd hurt it, even though it is fairly hard plastic. So with all the grease on it and stuff, I'm just pushing on both sides, and then so here and here. Yeah. Sort of like you're torquing lug nuts, none of them all at once. So I'm doing here and here, here and here. And now that it's all the way seated, I'm just pushing my finger and running it around to make sure it's all equal and not one side is slightly more up than another.
Trash outside, gonna hit our boat.
Okay, I'm gonna add marine grease for the impeller, just so it's...
While it's dry.
Yeah, while it's running dry, it'll be good for a bit. All right, here we go to see if it'll leak or not. No leaks at the moment, of course. But we also have to make sure we don't get a, not vapor lock, but a... Pretty nicely, no leaks.
And with that, we had no more leaks and a few more projects checked off the list. And although we weren't excited about this anchorage spot in terms of its being pristine, it was nice to be so close to the things you needed, and it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, relatively still. But that is it for this week's episode. Thank you guys, as always, for coming along. Special thanks to our patrons, and happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays! And we'll see you next week.
See ya. Also, we will have some new shirts and hats coming in the new year.
So much. Really good.
That was a great shot. You can totally see what that is.
I thought so. Start again. As wild as Sissy Mountains again. It was wild to see the mountains ascend.
Just wild.
How now, brown cow?